So this past year, one of my mentors, his name's Russell, he kept talking about this book called Atlas Shrugged. And finally I picked up this book, and it is a tediously long book, but it is probably the most informative or important book that I have read to give me an understanding of what we as a society are experiencing, and I want to share it with you guys. So essentially, the author of this book, she came from a communist country and she moved to America, and this book is a fictional book that kind of has some themes or some morals to why communism is bad. And in the entire book, there is this underlying concept that people in power only desire to stay in power. They only desire to have funding for being in power, and they are just absolutely corrupt. And how they do this is basically they refuse to take action, they refuse to accept blame, and they basically tiptoe around any affirmative statements that nail them to a position. Sounds really familiar, right? And in this book, the country has fallen into disarray to a point that we no longer use air travel, and trains are now the primary mode of transportation. And the protagonist is a woman named Dagny Taggart. And Dagny's family has run this Taggart Railway train system for, I want to say 3 decades. And her grandfather built it with his bare hands. So kind of the American dream. And throughout the entire thing, you have a foil in her brother who is trying to play this political game, and spoilers, he gets burned all the fucking time for trying to play it. And all of the politicians are just basically trying to slit each other's throats in the process of gaining more power and control without actually having to make an affirmative stance or take action. And then all of this is kind of codified around another individual by the name of Henry Reardon. And Henry is a metal manufacturer who invents a new alloy that is 1,000 times stronger and lighter than metal, or iron rather. And Dagny ends up betting on Hank and his alloy, and all of the people who are in the metal manufacturing business basically lobby the government to get Hank out of business. That doesn't work. So then they move to the court of opinion, and they start paying off all of the news to talk about how dangerous Hank's new Reardon metal is, and how you would be a fool to do it. They even go as far as to get the science institutes to say how just dangerous and terrible this alloy is. And all of this comes to a head as the government essentially demands that Hank share his secret formula for making this metal with all of the competition, because it's only fair, and equity is the only measure, because we are all our brother's keeper, which is just communist bullshit propaganda. And it sounds so familiar to this moment where TikTok is now being pushed into the spotlight, and they are not doing anything different than any other media outlet or any other social media outlet. And in fact, it sounds like there are other technology companies who are the ones who are perpetrating this by trying to influence our government system through corporate donations, and they're trying to influence the court of public opinion through manipulating the media, and just all of this terrible stuff. Now, in the book, Atlas Shrugged, it all comes to a head when all of the producers or the people of the world who are willing to take action, who are inventing and making things and striving and trying to make the world better, just give up. They all go on strike, and a individual named John Gaunt basically recruits them to go live in this secret town that he has aptly named Atlantis. And as a product, society crumbles. And all of this could have been avoided if all of the people of society had basically taken a stand. But inch by inch, they were broken down, and inevitably it got to the point where they were unwilling to take action on anything, from the smallest decisions to the largest decisions. No one wanted to be in blame or in trouble if something might go wrong. It's an incredible book, and I think that as far as understanding and informing my personal opinions on government and power and politics and the danger of communism and the danger of a corrupt government system, this has got to be the best one. And it's fiction, but I would really encourage you to, if you do nothing else, they have 3 movies out that'll give you a general idea. So maybe start there. It's weird, they shift cast in every movie. I don't understand why. Didn't like that, but check those out. And if you decide to dive a little deeper, it is one of the largest books you'll read. It's like an 18-hour audiobook. It's like a 3,000-page book, I want to say. But man, is it an incredible read, and you will absolutely benefit from it. But I would just encourage you to start thinking about these facts, that there are a lot of issues that we as United States citizens, as Americans, need to be thinking about and really deciding where we stand on these, because action is going to be required. I'm not talking about revolution. I'm not talking about anything that is inciting, but we need to make some hard decisions, and we need to stand unified. And the only way for us to do that is for us to understand our position in all of this personally, so that we can make an informed statement and not be afraid of the repercussions of it.